We are legit friends. I recently spent a week at his place, spent Christmas together. I met his parents.
I have severe anxiety disorder.
As soon as I want, I can stop them, and within days, I don't have severe anxiety disorder anymore. Then why are you taking them?
A new scientific review argues that steroid users actually still live longer than non-steroid users.
In the words of Joey Swole, you need to do better. Coach Greg, in today's video, how many years do steroids cut off your life? Well, the experts weighed in. The scientist, Mike Israetel and his friends, like Menno, Henselmans. You ever heard of this guy? Statistical researcher, highly knowledgeable, expert on the subject. And guess what the answer is? It doesn't. It doesn't shorten your life. And that's based on his unbiased opinion.
My goal in this video is simply to provide you with unbiased, objective information.
And I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. And these guys, they seem to get together and they form a circle. And not the kind of circle that I like, inclusive for everyone. They like to do the hawk tua in a circle. All these friggin' jerkins going on, but no one is speaking the truth except for Coach Greg.
We are legit friends. I recently spent a week at his place, spent Christmas together. I met his parents. So yeah, you could say things are actually getting pretty serious. And I'm thinking of maybe putting a ring on one of his overly muscular fingers.
In today's video, I'm going to show you how these guys are justifying the use of performance-enhancing drugs to make it look like it's not dangerous, to make it look like it's okay. Because after all, based on an unbiased, unfiltered opinion, it doesn't shorten your life, when we all know that it does. This is how many years steroids cut off your life. And so I was excited to watch this video. Couldn't wait to see. Is it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? How many years is it?
By looking at scientific data, what are we talking about here? How many years of your life will you lose?
Spoiler alert, I'm gonna post the ending right now. And so if you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna see this post. Lack of evidence that doping is harmful to the health of elite athletes. And so what does that mean? Well, it means what it says. There's a lack of evidence saying that steroids are going to shorten your life. If you're an elite athlete, a professional bodybuilder, powerlifter, strongman athlete, elite athlete, anyone using performance-enhancing drugs who trains harder than the last time, they go to the gym. Well, it doesn't actually shorten your life. And guess who liked it? Dr. Mike Israetel, world-renowned expert, the authority on all of this stuff. The guy that you can look up to the most, because why would you look up to Coach Greg? Not like this guy is a professional bodybuilder, used performance-enhancing drugs, quit them. And why? Because they're bad for you, can shorten your life. Listen to those experts who are doing the circle jerk hawk tua.
A new scientific review argues that steroid users actually still live longer than non-steroid users. That's because when you look at the top athletes, it seems that the exercise and the better nutrition compensate for the health risks from using steroids.
Steroid users live longer than non-steroid users. How many of y'all believe that?
Specifically, Morrison found that elite athletes that are most likely doping live longer than the general population, and they live longer than their siblings.
People say that I cherry pick in videos. This is cherry picking in studies. If we're comparing two groups of populations, they have to be the same two groups. Elite athletes on steroids versus elite athletes not on steroids. The general population not on steroids, the general population on steroids. If we take two different groups and say, see, these people live longer than others, that is not fair. Consider this. If you can afford to take performance-enhancing drugs and you're living in a first world country and you have access to healthcare, you're probably going to live longer than people who are ultra poor living on the streets that have absolutely no money. You take those homeless people out there who have no food, no shelter, no clothing, and say, see, steroid using doesn't shorten your life. Well, yeah, in comparison to people living on the streets with no money, with no access to healthcare, It's not a fair comparison. And what does it do? It allows people like this guy, perhaps Dr. Mike Israetel, to justify their own actions, to act as if it's not going to shorten their lives.
Morrison goes as far as to argue that most early deaths from steroid use are due to the abuse of steroids and the use of black market compounds, which often do not contain exactly what's on the label.
How many of you think that you're only going to get in danger of using black market steroids? That if you get it from pharmaceutical companies that are legit, that, oh, those are going to be 100% safe. The results are dose dependent. If you're getting HRT prescribed by your doctor, for example, if it's from Transcend, of which I partnered up with, it's not going to have nearly the same side effects as if you're using 10 to 20 times those doses on the black market. And so if you're on steroids and you want to stop, you can, of course, click the link in the description, use code Greg, 15% off. Stop using steroids. Clearly, the problems are dose dependent. If you're on HRT prescribed by your doctor, it's a big difference than if you're blasting, testing, trend, Deca, D-ball, and so on, and competing in a bodybuilding competition.
It would seem that, yes, there is an increased risk while you're using the steroids, but afterwards in life, the presumably healthier lifestyle of these athletes was enough to offset these negative effects in the long term and even make them still live longer than the general population.
Again, we're comparing elite athletes to the general population. What do you think elite athletes generally have? They have great diets, they're exercising, they're doing cardio, they're probably eating the appropriate number of calories, and they also have elite genetics. Think of it. And we're going to compare those people to the general population. The general population are out there drinking bottles of wine all the time, drinking alcohol. We know a class 1 carcinogenic. The World Health Organization says, hey, this is bad. And so do you not remember people saying, oh, a glass of wine a day, it's good for your heart? That's absolute nonsense. It's horseshit. But yet that was based on science. And so let's put on our thinking caps right now. Do you really think the general population of cigarette smokers, alcohol drinkers, guys who are not doing cardio, lazy, sitting on the chair, playing video games all day compared to elite athletes is a fair comparison? Oh, but steroids, they don't shorten your life. Really?
Another way of looking at these results is to say that even recreational sporadic use for some 10 years of your life while you're competing in elite sports and living a generally very healthy lifestyle is enough to pretty much offset all of the health benefits you're getting from having a healthier lifestyle, better nutrition, better exercise for almost the rest of your life.
And so in summary, basically, is, well, if you use steroids, you're probably going to live just as long as people on average. And so it's not shortening your life. And I'm just giving you my unbiased opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you an unbiased opinion.
How bad exactly is steroid use? Well, I suppose that's up to you. My goal in this video is simply to provide you with unbiased, objective information.
And hey, it's up to you what you do with that knowledge. Do you know what people are going to do with that knowledge? They're going to use steroids and they're going to abuse them. Why? Because, well, it doesn't short your life. And so to me, this video, highly irresponsible. You're calling me out that my videos are responsible. I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to show people the dangers of using and abusing performance-enhancing drugs. You're trying to cover up in that circle jerk haktua, saying, oh no, steroids aren't bad. It's not going to shorten your life. Really? You know how many bodybuilders are dying in their 40s, 20s? And you have the audacity to say that Coach Greg is going too far. Let's read your comment on my video. Greg, this is low even by social media standards. Really, it's low to say what somebody else said about the dangers of using steroids. If you were genuinely concerned about him, you'd have contacted him personally. So this is clearly nothing more than tabloid-level gossip to get views off Mike's fame. If I write Mike Israetel in private and say, I'm concerned that you should probably not be competing, do you think it's going to make one lick of difference to him? Do you think he'll care even the slightest? But if I make a video and 1 million people watch it, how many thousands do you think will think twice about abusing performance-enhancing drugs? And so this video is not just about talking about Mike. It's about letting the world know that this is dangerous. Critique the man's recommendations or bodybuilding accomplishments by any means. Why am I critiquing his accomplishments? He's done exceedingly well. Did you watch the video? Did you not hear me say he's a national level competitor? Did you not hear me say he has a PhD, that he does not need to compete in bodybuilding to make a career? He is an expert. I strongly suggested you go and follow him. Did you watch the video? Of course you didn't, because you're too busy circle jerking up to each other. Mike's uniquely transparent about his drug use and personal goals, unlike most in the industry, and you're using it against him. I'm using it to help him and the industry. Mike is extremely intelligent, perhaps smarter than Coach Greg. He has a PhD. I only have my master's, had the highest average, but perhaps more intelligent than Coach Greg. And despite all of that, which one of us is still abusing performance-enhancing drugs? And which one of us stopped? As smart as Mike is, and as much as he knows about the dangers of using steroids, he still continues to do so, but yet I do not. I quit nearly 5 years ago. Based on what I'm seeing, I believe that he's perhaps addicted. What do you think? But no, you're going to make a video and say that using steroids, it doesn't shorten your life. And then you post this on social media, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Mike likes to comment. Oh, I'm saying, phew, what a relief. I'm going to continue to abuse steroids. When you know that it's bad, you know it. I'm just going to say in the video, I'm unbiased. You know you cherry-picked. I talked to some statistical researchers, to other people. This is what they said. He cherry-picked studies to fit his narrative. Lack of evidence that doping is harmful to the health of elite athletes. Elite athletes have 5 to 6 years additional life expectancy when compared to men who are healthy at young adults. Lower mortality for cardiovascular disease was in part due to lower rates of smoking, as tobacco-related cancer mortality was especially low. He's being unbiased, but any normal person watching this video would come to the conclusion that steroids are okay. He doesn't say how many years of life are lost. He just says the cons of using steroids are offset by the pros of typical users being generally healthy. But hello, the best of both worlds. As if I want to be compared to the general population who we all know are unhealthy. And so what happens is steroid users are doing anything, looking up any study to try to offset and mitigate the knowledge that they know steroids are bad. Everyone knows that they're bad, but they look for any excuse to make it look like it's okay. And this video from a researcher, somebody highly knowledgeable that knows better than this, that is going to encourage other people to use steroids. He knows exactly what he's doing, so who are we to judge him? And so if somebody's addicted to alcohol, or worse, perhaps it's sniffing creatine. Perhaps it's another recreational drug. And if they're intelligent, we should just ignore them? We should just let them do it because they know what they're doing? Or should we not be speaking out against it? Also, you're absolutely wrong about Mike chasing money at all costs. Mike's an incredibly generous person that does not live a lavish life at all. Didn't say that. Said he's doing it for the money. Why? Because he himself said so. Did you watch the freaking video?
The only reason I compete is to illustrate to people that marginally more than they would otherwise believe, the methods that we espouse at Renaissance Periodization are effective.
He said if I were not coaching, I wouldn't compete in bodybuilding. I'd probably do grappling and so on. He knows it's dangerous, but he wants to show that his form of training is marginally better than other people. His words, not mine. And so I know he doesn't live a lavish life. He makes more money than Coach Greg, I can tell, and yet he doesn't have 10 Lamborghinis and so on. But do you remember Walter White? Did you not watch my freaking video? If I have to explain the whole thing all over again. Do you remember he had $250 million in a storage locker that he could never spend, yet he kept doing it?
How big does this pile have to be?
And so he's not competing for the love of bodybuilding. He loves it so much. He said in his own video, I watched it, showed you the video, that he's competing because he wants his coaching to do better. And so I would argue that his family would rather him live a longer life. And so let's now look at Mike's comment in regards to his use of performance-enhancing drugs. And let's really think about it. Folks who have commented or reached out about my anxiety disorder, thank you so much for caring. He himself is admitting he has an anxiety disorder.
I have severe anxiety disorder.
I'm not inventing this. People keep saying, how dare you? You're making clickbait. You're creating drama. He's saying it. Good news. It's entirely due to steroids. I could stop reading right there. It's entirely due to steroids. He has a severe anxiety disorder. He went over it in detail, and it's entirely due to steroids. If he stops it, it goes away, yet he continues. Does that make sense for a really intelligent individual? Oh, I cough all the time, I'm out of breath, I feel like dog shit, I can't sleep, it's entirely due to smoking. Yet you keep smoking. Does that not seem like a problem to you? Maybe a little one. What do you think? I take them entirely voluntary with no compulsion or addiction. Says every addict ever in the history of the world. No compulsion or addiction. I can stop whenever I want. Stop whenever I want. Not addicted. People are drinking alcohol or people who are overweight. Oh, I could quit eating at any time. Could you? People say that about everything. Oh, I could quit at any time. As soon as I want, I can stop them. And within days, I don't have severe anxiety disorder anymore. And within weeks, I can barely have anxiety at all. I hate how they make me feel. Then why are you taking them? Let that sink a little. He's not addicted to them. He can stop at any time, and he hates how they make them feel, but yet he doesn't stop. Because he wants an IFBB Pro card, of which he said he wouldn't even be competing in if he wasn't trying to make his business better, for coaching clients, because if you have an IFBB Pro card, it makes you appear to be more knowledgeable. Because people have a biased opinion about people who have an amazing physique. Oh, look at that physique. Look at that Pro card. He must be smart. He must be intelligent. Yet I've stated how he knows more than almost anyone in this world, but not enough to stop taking them. I have a few goals left in bodybuilding left to accomplish, so I deal with it. And so because he hasn't gotten his Pro card yet, remember, he's about 40 years of age. He's past his prime. He has side effects from these things, and it's not just steroids, it's growth hormone, insulin, all kinds of things, even a semaglutide. He's literally taking diabetes medication for people who are obese, overweight, and so on, and using that to help him diet. But oh, heavens forbid I'm selling a cookbook. What a bad person. Let's just get everyone to abuse semaglutides that are made for people with diabetes. How healthy do you think that is? Oh, and in case you didn't know, semaglutides, for example, Ozempic and so on, you know what some studies have shown? Reduces your dopamine levels to the point of you shop less, you don't desire sex as much, you don't want to do as much exercise, you essentially don't like life as much. These are drugs. They have side effects. But hey, I want to be a professional bodybuilder. And with that Pro card, you get to spend $250 a year to compete, of which you get probably last place and make nothing from it whatsoever. But I want an IFBB Pro card, which has been watered down for 10 years. How many Pro cards do they give at the North American? 70? There's so many categories, so many divisions. Having an IFBB Pro card, they're giving it away like candy. Well, not quite that easy. It's not Halloween, of which you have to wear a freaking Halloween mask. Well, at least that makes sense at Halloween, but the rest of the year makes no sense. But don't get me started. I have a knack for doing very hard things that take a long time, so this is right up my alley. No need to worry about me. And so we shouldn't worry about him. I mean, after all, he ends it with this sentence. If I die before due time from the cardiovascular shit, it's been real, and this is what I wanted. If I die, I die. If this was your child, what would you say? What would you think? And remember, I was talking to my parents the other day, and they said, Greg, you're 48 years of age, but you're still my son. You're still my kid. And so no matter how old you get, there's going to be someone out there that sees that as my kid. Does anyone think that people won't miss Mike Israetel if he dies just a little bit young? If I die, I die. If I die before my due time, it's all worth it. It's all great. You're saying that now, but what would your wife think? What would your family think? What would your friends think? I am certain they wouldn't be happy about this. Imagine if I were to die before the release of this video and we found out it's because I abused steroids for 10 years in my past. What would people think? It'd be very sad. Well, I wish he hadn't done that. And so right now, if you're using or abusing performance-enhancing drugs, you're probably loving it. You're thinking, I have all this muscle, it feels amazing. Or you have crippling anxiety like Mike's describing. You don't like the way you feel, but you keep going because you have goals to accomplish. That Pro card, it means so much. It means so much right now. It won't mean cookbook all when you're dead. Do not ever feel the need to be sympathetic for me, Dr. Mike. And so we're supposed to just ignore this because it's his wishes. Or can I not make videos to speak out about the use and abuse of performance-enhancing drugs? What is wrong with me doing this? And I'm somehow taken out to be the bad guy. But when I was making videos saying, SARMs do this, steroids do that, oh, go Coach Greg, this is amazing. But if I speak about the good, the bad, and the ugly, y'all get mad at me? You only want me to say about the good and none of the bad. Why? Because ignorance is bliss. You don't want to know about the bad. And so videos like this where you eat steroids, they don't short your life. It's the same. You know what's going to do to the younger generation? I'll show you what. Point of view. Steroids had your back when no one did. So you got a guy who's 19 years of age. Steroids had my back when no one else did. He perhaps watches this video and says, steroids don't shorten my life. I'm an elite athlete. I'm going to train harder than last time. I'm going to go to the gym. It's not going to shorten my life. Guy already looked amazing. But no, it wasn't enough muscle. Because I looked at guys on social media. I looked at Chris Bumstead. I looked at Sam Sulek. I looked at all these guys. They're huge. And so I want to look like that. And I've found enough evidence from all the experts, Mike Israetel, Henselmans, and if Mike's using it and says, hey, whatever, and Henselmans saying it doesn't shorten your life, then what the heck, I'm going to do it too. But maybe they stumble upon a Coach Greg video and they think twice. Have you ever thought of that? And so Henselman, you have the audacity to accuse me of going too far in my videos. How could you do this on social media? Yet you're glorifying steroids and you know it. You know there's going to be young, impressionable teenagers, guys in their 20s and so on. They're going to watch your video thinking, oh my God, how many years did it be? Please don't let it be 10 or 20. And they're going to come here to find out, it doesn't make a difference because of your unbiased opinion. And they're going to think, what a relief. Doubling my dose tonight. Where's the trend? And so I don't have time to read the comments, but even many people in the comment section were saying, this doesn't prove anything. This doesn't state anything. They're comparing elite athletes to regular people. And so in the words of Joey Swole, you need to do better. And so my advice, don't resort to using steroids, especially if you're young. If you haven't developed yet, many people watching this are probably under 25 years of age. You're far too young. I know many of your heroes have used steroids when you're young and it's being glorified on social media. Please at least use natural supplement first. They can in fact work. Of course they can. Not as good as steroids, but they are going to do something. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You got stuff like creatine, Turk Builder, Ecti Builder, GO2 Max. You can use these supplements. They're not banned by WADA. You won't fail a drug test. And so if you're interested in any of the Harder Than Last Time supplements, Seco bars, the cookbooks, all that stuff, of course you can get that. Code Greg, 15% off. Also have a clothing line and so on. And if you want a free diet and training program, because many of you think it's just about making money, but yet I have a free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages in length. Almost 100,000 people have gotten this. That's a lot of people. It's free. It's nearly 50 pages, and there are several of these, depending on your calorie needs and so on. Get to the website. Become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.